Taliban stopped 100 women flying to Dubai for university scholarships. Khalaf Ahmad al-Hatub, the head of a Dubai-based conglomerate, revealed that the Taliban prevented approximately 100 women from traveling to the UAE for sponsored university education. Al-Hatub had arranged for their education and transportation, including a plane to fly them, but the Taliban authorities disallowed them from boarding. Al-Hattur shared his frustration in a video on social media detailing the arrangements he had made for their accommodation, education, and security. The Taliban's refusal to permit these female students to travel contrasts with their claims of permitting Afghans to leave the country. Despite allowing men to travel, the Taliban usually requires women to be accompanied by a male chaperone for long journeys. The Taliban's policy of closing universities and high schools for women in Afghanistan further underscores the restriction on female education. We should send feminists to Afghanistan so that they understand what oppression actually means. Hopefully, these women will actually have an opportunity to find a way to leave the country to get a better education. Thousands of penguins die in Antarctic ice breakup. In late 2022, a tragic event unfolded in the west of Antarctic continent, where young emperor penguins faced a dire fate due to melting and fracturing sea ice. The chicks were unable to develop waterproof feathers necessary for swimming, leading to their likely drowning or freezing to death. The event, documented by satellites, occurred in the Bellingshausen Sea sector and is seen as a precursor to the ongoing threat faced by these iconic birds. Over 90% of emperor penguins colonies are projected to be nearly extinct by the century's end due to diminishing seasonal sea ice. The study published in Nature Communications Earth and Environment reveals that several colonies experience breeding failure due to fractured sea ice. The decline in Antarctic summer sea ice has accelerated since 2016, with the past 2 seasons making record lows. The shift is attributed to warm ocean water and changing wind patterns. While currently classified as near-threatened, proposals suggest elevating emperor penguins to vulnerable category due to climate-related threats. Japan begins release of Fukushima water, TEPCO. Japan has initiated the controlled release of wastewater from Fukushima nuclear plant, aiming to dispose of over 1 million cubic meters of contaminated water over several years. The process has caused concerns and backlash, particularly from China. The release is part of an ongoing decommissioning process, marking a significant step in addressing one of the worst nuclear disasters in history. While Japan asserts the safety of the treated water, China has criticized the plan as selfish and irresponsible and has taken measures such as banning food imports from affected Japanese regions. Some experts support Japan's approach, noting that the tritium levels in the water are relatively harmless, especially once diluted in the vast Pacific Ocean. However, opposition from environmental groups, as well as China and Russia, persist with alternative suggestions for disposal. The issue highlights the intersection of environmental concerns, international relations, and economic interests in the region. China should just focus on their internal problems, and Russia should just focus on trying to get out of the war in Ukraine and let Japan do its own shit. BRICS invites 6 countries including Saudi Arabia, Iran to be new members. The BRICS group of nations has decided to invite 6 countries, Argentina, Egypt, Iran, Ethiopia, Saudi Arabia, and United Arab Emirates, to become new members of the bloc, South African President Cyril Ramaphosa said on Thursday. The debate over expanding the BRICS bloc, comprising Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, has topped the agenda at a 3-day summit in Johannesburg ending on Thursday. While all BRICS members have publicly expressed support for growing the bloc, there were divisions among the leaders over how much and how quickly. BRICS seems to be expanding pretty fast, and very soon BRICS is going to be competing with the G7 nations on a toe-to-toe basis. That is going to be a very interesting development for developing nations around the world. We'll have to wait and see how that plays out. Argentina's economic activity down 4.4% in June as agriculture plunges. Argentina's economy experienced a 4.4% year-on-year contraction in June, as reported by official statistics agency, falling short of expectations from Refinitiv poll anticipating a 4.0% decline. The decline was exacerbated by staggering 40.4% drop in agricultural sector, attributed to the worst drought in 6 decades as indicated by INDEC data. Despite being a major global grains exporter, Argentina's crop production suffered severely due to the prolonged dry spell. This setback greatly impacted the overall economic performance. However, analysts predict a potential rebound in the later part of the year as the agricultural industry gradually recovers from the drought with the arrival of rain. The anticipated improvement in agricultural figures is expected to mitigate the overall economic downturn, as outlined in a report by consulting firm Orlando Ferreres and Associates. Again, we are having more agricultural issues and a plunge in agricultural exports. This doesn't bode well for the food price inflation that is already getting worse and out of hand, as well as the next article about India. India set to ban sugar exports for the first time in 7 years. India is set to prohibit sugar mills from exporting sugar in the upcoming season from October due to reduced cane yields caused by inadequate rainfall. This would mark the first such halt in 7 years. The move aims to prioritize local sugar demands and the production of ethanol using excess sugarcane. The absence of India, a major sugar exporter from the global market, is anticipated to drive benchmark prices in New York and London higher. These prices are already trading at multi-year highs, sparking concerns about potential inflation in global food markets. Insufficient monsoon rains in key cane-growing regions like Maharashtra and Karnataka have significantly affected India's sugar output. As a result, experts predict a drop in sugar production for the year 2023-2024 season, possibly causing reduced planting for the following season as well. The government's focus is now on maintaining supplies and price stability, given the recent surge in local sugar prices and overall food inflation. Better stock up, guys. Doesn't look like things are going to improve anytime soon. China's deflation could spill over into global concern, economists say. China's economic challenges are causing deflationary pressures that are becoming a global concern, with the situation expected to worsen in the coming quarters. Beijing's economic struggles have been evident as recent data missed expectations, including high youth unemployment figures and slump in borrowing demand. The real estate sector has also been troubled, with major developers facing default and bankruptcy. China's consumer price index fell, marking deflation for the first time in over 2 years. This contrasts with Western economies that have been dealing with inflation. Chinese economic weakness and falling prices are likely to affect global markets, benefiting Western central banks in their fight against inflation. China's attempts to transition to a consumption-led growth model have been hindered by weakening fundamentals, leading to excess manufacturing capacity. The government's stimulus efforts have not fully offset the drag from the property market. These challenges are affecting global sentiment and growth, with potential repercussions for international markets and commodities. I think a little bit of deflation will be good. Everyone is struggling with food prices, so if food prices can actually go down, that'll be good. Unfortunately, this deflation is not about the food prices, it's about the property prices and investment by big firms. Big firms are making a big fuss because their prices of their stocks are going to drop, while the rest of the world is struggling, trying to feed their empty stomachs. Welcome to the 21st century, people. Binance to halt crypto debit card in Latin America and Middle East. Cryptocurrency exchange Binance is set to suspend its cryptocurrency debit card services in Latin America and the Middle East from August 25th. These debit cards, funded by cryptocurrency assets, allowed users to make everyday purchases. Binance hasn't disclosed the exact reason for the suspension, but stated it would affect just 1% of users in the affected regions. The service will end by September 21st, with refunds and disputes processing available until December 20th, 2023. The decision was revealed after a user inquired about issues with crypto debit cards in Colombia. Binance's response indicated the suspension, but didn't provide further clarity on the decision's cause. Initially introduced in April 2020, Binance crypto-backed debit cards were aimed at global payment market. The exchange partnered with Swipe for this endeavor and expanded to multiple countries, including Europe and the US. It seems like many countries are starting to make a big fuss and a big deal about the monetary system being controlled by a decentralized exchange or by a centralized exchange that is not under their thumb. Doesn't seem like this is going to get any better, and it's only going to get worse while governments around the world start to have a stranglehold on the monetary supply in order to control how the population spends their money, and also to maintain a facade that everything is fine and dandy while all the currencies collapse at the same time. When currencies collapse at the same time, the relative exchange rates will remain the same. Therefore, you will not notice a difference in terms of the exchange rate, but what you will notice is the price of everything going up drastically. Thank you for staying to the end of the video. Please like, share and subscribe. I'll see you again tomorrow.